Hey guys, Twisted Auto Garage here with another video. Today we're going to do some plastic welding on the front bumper of my Mitsubishi. So I've taken this fully off the car so we can get a deep inspection of the marks that are on there and kind of the cracks and things like that that have happened on it. And today we're going to be using I think it was like a $20 kit that I got from Harbor Freight. So I'm going to walk you through the steps on how we're going to reinforce the bumper. So first off, the package includes, your iron, a stand, some plastic welding rods that what we'll use to kind of fill in some gaps on the bumper, a wire brush, instructions, and some reinforcement mesh. And you'll use the reinforcement mesh for, like, if you had plastic tabs on your bumper or something like that that got broken and you want to reinforce it so a bolt will won't fall out of it. So the front bumper in general is in pretty bad shape, but I'm gonna have to do some repairs on the rear bumper and not get a replacement for the rear bumper, but get a replacement for the front bumper. So I thought I'd take this time kind of show you guys the process on repairing plastic. Now it's smooth, and then there's a little hiccup right in there. Now what we'll do is we'll sand this down. If you have plastic poking out, which I did, you'll want to try to get it as flat as possible so you can sand the least amount off to get it flat. And you'll have to put some body filler and things like that on the front. But this does flex a lot, so you will have to see what your options are. I know body filler may crack up, but if you guys have any good options, things like that, leave in the comments below. But anyway, so to get started here, you're gonna want to sand down any really big ridges. Now I have a lot of space in between my areas, so what I'm gonna do is just heat up and then fill it in with plastic. So I have some sanding to do back here. Give you guys a little bit of light so I can fill in the cracks and things like that. And what you'll do is you'll want to start off with like an 80 grit and things like that. And so while you're sanding this down, you can take a look at your $20 little gizmo here, and it has a little green LED showing you that it's plugged in and ready to go. So you want to get that 5 to 10 minutes to warm up before you really start melting some of your plastic for your front bumper. So we're gonna let that sit. Alright guys, so I flipped it over so you guys can get a better look at, and I've started welding a little bit of plastic on there. So you'll notice in there that the pieces that I welded on are a little bit darker. So there's, if you want to reinforce the bumper, you'll want to use some of the mesh, but like I said earlier, you may just want to use that for the tabs and things like that. And another strategy you can use, also since this is a form of welding, but this isn't really metal, you can use ice water to cool down your plastic, and it shouldn't hurt anything, versus if you're welding and they put some ice water on there. You may run into some issues, but anyway, so you can kind of see that I welded up this little piece and tacked right here, but there's still a hole right in there. So I was just waiting for this piece to cool down, and then since this is the back and nobody will really see it, it doesn't really matter if I do sand down these little areas and things like that. I will, but I won't really have to worry about any body filler or things like that. But like I said, you want to make sure the body filler that you use can do all the flexing and things like that, because you wouldn't want that cracking off and things like that. So you can kind of see that this whole kind of piece was just cracked off. So I just kind of lined it up as straight as I could, and then plastic welded this piece on, And so to really do that, all you need to do is just pull one of these pieces out, and you can either cut to size just cut out a little piece and put it in the hole if there's a lot of plastic missing. If you do have some plastic overlapping and you didn't want to sand it off, you could just melt that down and cover that piece up using just plastic that's on here. I mean, obviously you don't want to take away too much of the structural plastic that's already there, but if it's overlapping and you need to use some of this anyway, you can just use some of the original. Like there were a few over here that were overlapping, so I just went ahead and just melted them down, added a little bit of filler to it. But for pieces that were just completely shot right there, I just instead of trimming a piece, I just kind of held a piece there and then welded it on. Now you will notice on your piece that it does get quite a lot of residue does build up on it, so you'll want to clean it every once in a while, especially before, if you're going to go ahead and start on this, to make sure that you don't have any previous plastics on there. But anyway, we're gonna weld up this and show you guys the final product on the back, and then we'll flip it over and I'll kind of show you how to do it on the front. So to give you a better look at what we'll be doing is, you can either, like I said earlier, chop up your pieces and then line them up straight there, or if it's in a situation where it's kind of a flat surface and this won't really stick there, what you'll do is you'll just kind of hold it there and then slowly rub onto it. Since this is a flat surface, you could just try to, and since this side will be seen by the underneath, well, most people won't see it, but you're working on it, you'll notice it. So we will sand this piece down, but behind this we won't really worry about it. No one's gonna see it. But anyway, you're gonna try to get this as flat as possible. Also, make sure you're in a very ventilated area. As soon as this thing does touch your bumper, it gives off a lot of smoke. So as soon as you have all your holes and things like that filled in and you're happy with it and it's a lot more structurally sound than it was before, what you'll do is get your wire brush and just kind of get some of the bigger chunks off, and make sure it's fully cooled down when you do this. If it's a little hot, then you have to worry about little pieces getting stuck inside your wire brush and things like that, and you exposing holes by pulling some of the hot plastic over and reducing some of your structuralness. Now, like I said earlier, if you want to improve on this, you can add some wire mesh that comes in the kit to kind of upgrade it and make it a lot stronger. But this is a lot stronger than it was before, so I'm okay with it. We will be upgrading the bumper in the future though. You'll see that in another video. But anyway, let's get on to the sanding. Alright, so now taking a look at the front. Now we've already done some sanding, and so I kind of just started out with an 80 grit, and you kind of just work your way up just to get a smoother finish. So you can kind of see the front. The front was poking out a little bit more. So the beauty about this little plastic welder is you can kind of see right there I have a low spot. So what I can do is I can just take my plastic welder and just kind of layer over some more plastic to kind of smoothen it out, instead of using some body filler and things like that to smooth it out. And what I did in the front to try to get this piece down, instead of taking like a palm sander or a Dremlin to kind of get it down, is I just kind of use the welder to melt down the plastic and spread it out to give it a smooth finish. Now you can see that there's a big gash right there that I'll have to fill in and kind of smooth out. But as you can see, the place that the crack that went all the way back here is getting a lot smoother. Now there are some pieces that I need to fill in, but if you close your eyes and kind of ran your hand by it, it just feels very smooth and up. And on certain parts I've even ran like a 600 grit sandpaper just to give it a really fine, smooth edge. So we're gonna try to sand this out. Like I said, you can use a palm sander and things like that on the front if you wish. But other than that, if you need to just spread over a little bit, you'll just kind of, you know, with plastic weld. You know what I'm talking about. All right, let's see the final product. All right, guys, so this is the final result. So you guys saw the front and the back when I first started, and I clearly have been able to get most of the pieces flat down and got it close to normal. This bumper will need a little bit more work, but like I said, I'm not going to use it on the VR4. I'm just going to clean it up and use it for examples. Now the rear bumper does need a lot of plastic welding, and so I will be trying to make that one look much better than this, but this is kind of a rough look at it. And so plastic welding is definitely a cool little experience. I think, you know, 20 bucks, definitely worth the money. There's also like a $70 one at Harbor Freight. If you guys want me to see how well that one works out on like bumpers and things like that, just let me know in the comments, and I'll go out there and purchase it for y'all and tell you what the difference is between the cheap one and the expensive one. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions about plastic welding, just let me know. So thanks for watching.